Hey everyone, thank you so much for coming to my channel, D versus Debt. This is D, and today is Savings Challenge Saturday. So we're going to be putting some money away. I forgot to do one of my challenges last week, which is pretty darn embarrassing. So we're going to get to that in a minute. So I put my little challenge box here as a reminder. So let's go ahead and get started with my rollover money check-in. So the way I do my savings challenges, if you're new to the channel, is that I budget a certain amount of cash spending a week, and I also budget a certain amount of credit card spending for my categories listed here every week, and then what's left over is what goes into my savings challenges. So for credit card spending, I have $100 budgeted per week, so 40 for groceries. For this week, I spent 11, so I have rollover of 29. For my home expenses, I budgeted 20, however, I went over and spent 30. So I bought laundry stuff, but really the major part of this was a shelf that I ended up purchasing to bring my plants in. So it's getting colder. I had a bunch of plants outside. I collect Hoyas. I love those plants. They're so cool and different. And so I have them on my back porch in the summer because that's where they're happy. But now that it's starting to get colder and it's dropped under 50 degrees at night, I had to bring them in, so bought a shelf, and that's what that was for. And so that put me in the negative by 10 bucks. Gas, I spent a little more than I was expecting to, budgeted 20, spent 25, so that's another 5 in the hole right there. And then for health, budgeted 20, I only spent 11, so that gave me a rollover of 9. So adding these two together, subtracting these two, that gave me a rollover amount of 23 bucks. So that's what I will be stuffing today, along with the money that I had forgotten to stuff last week for my New Year's Eve challenge and then my 10,000 steps challenge. So let's go ahead and get started with the bingo challenge. Well, so that closes out the G's. That's the first row in my bingo challenge. That's all the way filled in, which is exciting. However, that means that I only had 23 to work with. So that takes 20 out. So goodness gracious. All right, so with that $20 going in, this is starting to get heavy, y'all. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 200, 20, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51. All right, so 251, and we are inching closer and closer to the goal of 325 bucks. So let's go ahead and move on to the alphabet challenge. So because there are just 3 bucks left, what I could do, I don't want to spin because obviously my odds of having the randomizer land on 1, 2, and 3 are very slim compared to all these other numbers. I'm going to go ahead and just put all 3 into here. All right, so I will color in the C for my 3 little dollars. I'm going to put that into my alphabet challenge, which means that with the 3, I have 20, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, $45 in here, and that will be for buying a new teacher wardrobe when I go back to school next year. So that'll give me a grand total of $351 to buy clothes with. So that is my alphabet challenge. So for whatever reason, I'm not sure exactly what happened. It was just, I'll call it a senior moment. I forgot to do this challenge last week. So every Friday I'm supposed to be filling in $10 leading up to this last Friday right here, which represents New Year's Eve. So that's why I wrote a little note to myself. I owe you the money for the 15th. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to fill in that circle. So the trick that I've learned for this is to highlight before you write in so that it doesn't smear the ink. Because if you put the ink down first and then highlight, it smears it all over the place, or you have to wait a while for it to dry before you can highlight. So to do it the quick way, which is what I'm doing right now, then just do the opposite. Color first and then go in with your pen. So that was for that week. And then this is for this week's Friday. It is another $10. So I had stuffed my $10 into this one. So now it's time to stuff the other two. So the next envelope gets $10 put into there. And then I've got 2 5s for the next envelope. That's gonna get stuffed into here. It's gonna be a little bit bulkier because it's got the 2 bills in there. And right back into the little box it goes. And then once the brand new year starts off, I'll have $120 saved up. So that gets me all caught up on my 2022 savings challenge. Now it's time for the 10,000 steps challenge. And once again this week I only had one day where I did more than 10,000 steps. So let me see, what color do I want? Curious to see how gray is gonna look. So this is a gray highlighter, and I happen to love the color gray. So on the 19th, I walked 10,185 steps. I would have walked more, but I've been glued to my computer. My new teacher is out of her mind and is giving a ridiculous amount of assignments to do. So I've literally been stuck to my computer like nonstop all week. So that fills in my first row, and that takes care of the 10,000 step challenge. So let's stuff that envelope. Okay, my 1, 2, 3, 4, oopsie, left one in there. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And back into the binder they go. So sadly, that means I have no money left for my $5 savings challenge, so I'm gonna have to skip that this week. Boo-hoo. So we shall try to do better next week. I don't have anything to put into my Roth IRA savings this week, but I am shooting for another $100 for next week. Hopefully if everything works out right, because at the end of the month is when I pay all of my bills. So I'm hoping to have $100 left over in my budget to put towards my Roth IRA. So we'll see about that. And that takes care of it for this week. It was kind of a mess because there wasn't much money to go around, and I drew a big number for the first savings challenge. So hopefully next week will be a little bit more exciting. We shall see how it works out. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy your day.